music, and sometimes there's some really nice vocals on there by guest artists. So yeah, I thought I would read some of these. He's amazing and I am obsessed with him. This one's actually signed by him. I was lucky enough when I did the pre-orders to get a signed copy. So that's pretty cool. And this will never be going nowhere. So that's the same as my vinyl. It will always be here. I might mix it some of it with soft-spoken, whispered. So yeah, let's get into it. It's a false thought to young minds, irony of being in your 20s, but feeling like you're running out of time. A line we've all heard in the life of downers and daffodils. Find our highs in the ground down bills and cigarettes by the windowsill. Still trying to fill your future with what you should do, could do, what your mum and dad would like you to. When your mum and dad was sad, and you packed your bags because they frightened you. You stub out your cigarette and take another sip of tequila to kill that feeling that you should only go and think in the future. But it's a rumour, nothing truer. Wish I realised it sooner. It's always sunny above the clouds, so live right here for what's in front of you. Enjoy the butterflies for one day they'll give you their wings and leave. Nerves will no longer be excitement without breathe. That made no sense. Let me say that again. Nerves will no longer be excitement without breath. Just an old friend you forget that once lived inside of your chest. First met on first dates or touching first base. Nerves that build up by candles when blowing out birthday cakes. That learning phase felt you turned a page when your breath broke quick and hands held hot like a burning flame. Because you realised that nerves just meant that you cared about something and they're not to be feared but savoured. And so notice those moments when you feel the nerves settling in and sit with them. Because once the nerves leave, it's hard to get that excitement back. Your dad used to mark your height above the side of the door. Names scribbled in darker ink next to lines of chalk. He'd say you're growing by the day, darling, high above the floor, and one day you'll witness the markings of times that you were before. Now you've grown up and grown on, moved that family house, started your own, living happily south of town, but on days that you doubt yourself, you'll be driving back to your dad's, checking upon the chalk, and how far you've grown since little hands. Oh, it was simpler back then, little lines of a pen. I should have sworn that I'd go to pause it, to relive again certain feelings we got on grass, while sitting with friends, the ones who said it, that growing old is the start of the end. Staring at you were just a kid. Staring at when you were just a kid. A line on the door, name scribbled in darker ink next to lines of chalk. Dad said you're growing day by day, darling, high above the floor. So look what you've become. You are this and so much more. We were kids around a table just discussing a dream. All do you want to do? Let me start again. We were kids around a table just discussing a dream, all asking what do you want to do and who are you pushing to be. Daddy lifted his liquor, Mum was falling asleep. We stayed awake with just the feeling of following little dreams. If you can hear snoring, my little pug is just snoring away asleep next to me. He loves it when I just sit and babble. Sorry, back to the poem. some matches. Anxious, we'd sit and watch them burn black to ashes. Ashes to ashes, and then dust to dust. We'd talk dreams around the table, hoping nothing would rust. Just us, little kids wearing pockets of trust, hoping we'd pick up on a dream that would stick and then last. We were kids, around a table planning our life. Daddy lit his liquor with open mouth in advice. You kids have got it now, but life it holds like a vice. So do what you love. F the rest, you've got time. Sorry, I'm getting pins and needles. Growing up means growing apart. It means bumping into a childhood friend you shared sandwiches with and not knowing how to pick up the memories over coffee. Growing up means remembering to drink water every day. It means having skincare routine in high hopes vitamin C will brighten the darkness from last year. Growing up means buying crockery, matching plates and bowls that bring you out at cook clubs, dinner dates, inevitably to be dropped or chipped by so and so as the third bottle of Beaujolais spills over. Growing up means run clubs, baking banana bread, long weekends and cheese. All the cheese, despite being told you are lactose intolerant by various healthcare professionals. Taking the short-term win over the suffer of consequences the next day. Growing up means figuring it out, discovering what you love and how you want to live this life of yours. Growing up means finding a person you want to share it all with. She wore baggy jeans. No, she didn't. She wore a baggy hoodie. She wore baggy hoodies with tie-dye Levi jeans. Saw herself as a problem teen with a head full of dreams. She was a kid with promise, but therein she lacked self-esteem. So she kept running up that hill with Kate Bush set on loop. Smoked gush to feel loose and swore the arts held truth. She was a deep sleeper. Stay in bed, not a morning creature with fine features. Cheekbones were deep cut like ribs of Jesus, and with eyes of Venus. Deep pools of blue that left you speechless, but find a subtle glint within, like her eyes held a secret. Her name was Nina, and she was a strong believer that maybe it's okay not to have it all figured out. Maybe we do have so much more time than we think. Well, she was down on herself, just wishing she had someone to say. Sometimes the sad feels better than feeling good, and that's okay. Sometimes we do not want blue skies to fade away into clouds of perfect grey. She thought a life of just happiness sounds pretty sad anyway. She tied herself over by tying blankets around her waist, racing around the room with the powers she so craved. She was Superwoman, a super suit that suited her best. Red trails flew behind her with an S on her chest. See, with that blanket on her body, she could be anyone. She could be anywhere. She could beat down the sounds of lonely and scared, break away from the bubble that troubled her cares. It was a path to a new you, but who knew that she too would run around with such blues, passing people in pain. She just smiled on now. This one hit quite deep to me because I am actually 30 next year, so enjoy. Today you're 20-something and soon you'll be 30-something and a day, saying you don't want to grow older but don't want things to stay the same. You want change to frame your life as you reach for future. You want change to frame your life as you reach for further stars, but sometimes to be still is to acknowledge that you are perfect right where you are. I mugged that one up. What would you change? If I could relive my 20s, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change the panic years, the not knowing what to do or where to go. I wouldn't change the heartbreak, the first dates in overpriced wine bars comparing how many brothers or sisters we each had, while attempting to trade cases. The first holidays where we'd stay up too late explaining our dreams to one another, before realising we were living them. The first fight, the second one, the one 3 years down the line that eventually parted us for good, in a tremendous ball of flames. I wouldn't change the letter I wrote you afterwards, the one I didn't send, the one that sits as a what if in my drawer, alongside dead batteries and ink cartridges, rendered mute by the fact that some things are better left unsaid. I wouldn't change the friends I let down, the times I didn't show up because I couldn't make it out of the house, the texts of I'm ill again, I'm running behind, or I'm hungover, the lies I told. I wouldn't change the truths I told either, the honesty I shared with friends, with family, and myself, looking in the mirror and accepting myself who I am. Despite the flaws and the fights, here you are, still standing. I wouldn't change the wasted time, the hours spent figuring out what I love, I like, the hobbies, the cookbooks, the gym classes, the teammates, the roommates, all tried and tested, like dipping a pinky in the pool to figure out what the temperature best fits you best. I'm missing days upon the playground, paper planes that we threw on through the grey clouds. We'd pray for rain, hoping clouds would slowly break and fill us with the feeling of future as it came down. I miss the faint sound of I can't wait to be grown, wishing away our childhood while getting wet to the bone. We'd play mum and dads and get married, in hopes one day we'd have our very own, not knowing that when we grow up, we'd wish that time was suddenly slow. We'd wish to go back to back then, back to playgrounds and fountain pens. This is for those who are second guessing and feel the stresses of vocation, the 9-5s that wear you down in a world of constant rotation. If you choose to change your days and run a different direction, love running where you are going, not crawling in hesitation. If I had 3 lives, I'd marry you in 2, and in the other life, that slightly dimmer, slower one, I probably would have been a writer, sat up in a corner side cafe, trying to pen you into existence, not knowing you, but still knowing I was missing something, a part of me that would have made me a little more whole, a little more together, and so I'd write, penning the idea of you to paper in hopes you might form out of ink, and our story might begin. And that's not to say I wouldn't be happy in this life, of course I would. I'd have friends to laugh with and complain about how much or how little work I'm getting. Set in a small apartment, overlooking the river, filled with books and fading denim, in a desperate attempt to look far more interesting than I am. And on weekends, I'd walk that water, a little slower, a little dimmer, wondering if I'd ever meet you. My response to If I Had 3 Lives by Sarah Russell. Let me pass you a bouquet of forget-me-nots, and as I pass them to you, I whisper, forget me not, for people in this life tend to forget me a lot, but I won't forget what I love, and like these things, these forget-me-nots, darling, please don't forget me tonight. I tell you what, I am butchering these. It's like the pressure of having to read them out loud, and my dog's snoring. Okay. This is one of my favourites as well. I don't want quick intimacy. I want someone to lean into me for a lifetime, like how I dreamt it was meant to be, holding you through the still days and the hurricanes too. Anyone can do the honeymoon phase, but true romantics are for the distant moons that are deeper and blue. Was told me supposed to spend our lives with someone, and that someone would be your journal, the first person you tell everything to, writing in the pages of the spine, like the days left to write, would last as long as you do. Maybe I romanticize love through old movies and YouTube, but the thought of me and you with a house with a view, that's the kind of old movie that I could get used to. Kiss me so deeply that I can taste your dreams. I want to feel the episodes of your life where you're headed and where you've been. The long walks and routines, childhood through routines, your growth into adult and everything that lies in between. And that's the scene between you and I. I laid awake in bed while I paint infinite signs down your spine, counting the goosebumps down your back as they ripple up to your mind, taking my time to outline your finer features like my fingers were walking blind. I want to paint you in respect with colours you won't forget, and on the days that become darker, they'll take the pain off your silhouette, and so go on and rest for a while as I write love notes down your spine, written in the silent hope I'll still be writing them in 5 years' time. Let me bury your hands in soil until outgrows a palm tree. Your fingers hanging like fruit will blow in the breeze, and I'll pick them, tasting the places they've been and the wrinkles they've kept. For fruit is never sweeter than when it's eaten by the one who helped it grow. You made me, me. So please eat from all I have to offer. For I eat in the silent hope that maybe I made you. Let me love you like the moon, completely with you on all your days, whether whole, half, or barely visible, loving you through every phase. Stare into their eyes like their stories are hidden within, each flicker holding a page, and I guarantee you the deeper you read, the more you'll never want the story to end. This is for the clothes that smell of each other, scent trailing out of their skin. This is for those with big hoodie stealers dreaming up big thoughts of him. This is for the lips that will kiss her after Sunday rest. This is for prayers in church, both wearing Sunday best. I love you more some days and love you some days less. And this is for honesty and loving, for the time is the test. The ones who stick throughout the crap and all the pits that depress. The fits of unrest that will await on your chest. This is for no need of speech, knowing that looks will do, for there's no need to speak when he's learned the books of you. From the pages of light to the chapters of blue, from the ink black evenings to the mornings of dew. A life of love comes with grief, she said. Oh yes, he replied, always, but a life without love is a grief not even worth imagining. I don't want to settle. I want someone to sweep me off my feet and speak it slow that I am special. Someone who likes me because but then loves me despite all my baggage, the battle scars, the fights. I want love that's imperfect, but perfectly so. For people are made from their shortcomings, their worries, their lows. I know I'll hold you in the same light, through your highs and the downers too. I'll treat your frowns just like a smile, for they're both you. Both grew from a person who split by love and hurting. We all carry both halves, so I want one who loves me at my worst and accepts me for that, holds me intact. Don't want to settle for someone who runs when the going gets hard. Though going can add the deepest meaning to your life, so find someone who wants your dark days just as much as your light. Why is it called falling in love? Why do we fall into this joy? Shh, 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 shh. This joy, falling, would surely indicate we are out of control, or rather, engaging in this act helplessly. He just looked at me like, you woke me up. Shh, were you snoring? I'm filming. Helplessly, only to be saved when you reach the end, when we hit rock bottom of reality as it were. Is love when perhaps the floor below, the place of safety, we fall, land and find a constant, a safe place to land our feet and dreams for a while, but in an intermittent one nonetheless. A temporary fall that keeps us safe before one day we might, fall again, fall out of love, once again plummeting toward where, another floor perhaps, another love, a life of falling. I'd like to think that time reserved a place for us, some simpler time where it did work out, and the world didn't seem so against the idea of you and I. And maybe in that time we'd find ourselves under a thatched roof cottage, the one you always wanted, the one we call ours. And maybe in the evenings we'll take turns to cook each other some food, often cooking in silence, for we know that some sound lives and dies within it, and sometimes it's wondrous to celebrate that. Maybe a Doberman named Daisy, curled in the corner, whose left paw was trodden on as a pup and now walks a little funny. But her undying tenacity to still live life to the fullest serves us as a constant reminder that we must play on with the hand we've been dealt, a time reserved. Maybe it's because you're my person, the one who holds me together on days seem their worst, and there's nothing better to find. It's how you slowly remind me that there's more to life than comparing myself to those that I live it through others' eyes. It's because I feel enough when I'm with you, and a life is tough when you've been through people who walked away with lips that with love used to kiss you. So no, you weren't my first kiss, but here's to hoping you'll be my last. When I find myself in your arms, they take a hold of the past and quietly say, it's okay. People love, and people leave. Change ruffles all your curtains like autumnal breeze, but see, that doesn't mean you can't be loved again, my friend. You reminded me that we're never broken forever, maybe just a pause in strength, but as you pour a drink, I pause on the porch to think, and thank the fact that, as one door closed, a glimpse of a window opened. We all want to find our person, the one we wake up and think of when we leave sleep. They're the first thing, the ones who light our life and make us a better version. They take the grey hours and change them into something sweet and certain. Let me find that person, the one in my mind I've painted, the one who sees nothing as everything, even in silence. In their presence is never time wasted. It's not stated enough, but what's better than love? Your counterpart is a heart that always says you're enough, so when you find your person, tell them every day, for they've accepted you for who you are in your own perfect person way. Okay, this one is also one of my favourites. She's married now, and so am I. Both very much happy, very content. Well, as much as a double can make one so. Both of us flutter around the soft thoughts of having children soon. Starting a family, settling down as her father would often say after a glass of Beaujolais or a cigarette. I do find it funny though, how years later we find ourselves in the same stuffy rooms at these work events or reunions. All those distant yet faintly familiar feelings return, the odd butterfly reawoken, and it's there that I begin to fantasize, to daydream, and Maybe those dreams will always be. Maybe I'll always find the colour of another life in her eyes. As we so gently ask, how have you been? And as per the script, we'll both blink and smile, always in polite recognition of what we know to be true. Then it could have been us settling down. It could have been us meeting every morning rather than once every blue moon in stuffy rooms. Still, we're very much happy, very content. Well, as much as a doll can make one so. That one is one of his ones that are on Amazon. It's called Juliet. It's really good. Oh, I keep hitting the mic with my leg, I'm sorry. And my mouth is so dry and I can't bother to go get a drink. So we're just gonna keep powering through. How do you count the moments you love someone when you have to leave them behind? No rhyme or reason, call it a seasonal change. We said goodbye without a kiss before going our separate ways. But still the hardest thing to accept in my mind. How a breeze ruffled at the curtains of change, told us it was time. I'm forgetting parts of us now, and maybe rightly so, leaving them in the past alongside first dates and dances, as memories tend to do. There is a strange sadness in that thought, forgetting you. How someone you painted a soft future with slowly turns from lover to friend and then from friend to stranger. No longer speaking, but maybe that's the cycle. How sweet it is to love, lose, and then finally forget, all in the blind hope of loving once more. And so we do forget. We leave those we loved most in that darkly lit back room, unstirred alongside first birthdays, and the compliments we're too eager to receive yet too slow to dish out. It did happen, so keep it safe, but maybe better out of sight, out of mind, respecting what is served, but knowing that it is no longer has to serve you anymore. You like to stand in the rain. No one there can see you cry. Sometimes the darkest skies comfort the hardest goodbyes. I don't know if we can be friends. Not like you imagined anyway, because that would mean writing over what we were, all those rose-tinted days, and turning into something less special and slightly more mundane. A lower level of pain where you no longer want me as your lover, but want to hold on to my best bits while you're in the chest, hits the arms of another. I don't think we can be friends, but then everyone says it will get better with time. A cruel irony, cause the thing about time is, it takes time. She said in the chapters of life, pain will always hold a page, and sometimes living by the seaside is nice, but these damn seagulls are so loud. She said the chapters of life, pain will always hold the page, and sometimes the process of progress is an uncomfortable phase, but once you read through the writing, you'll see that lighter days are just a chapter away. While you're in the middle of it all, don't pretend to be okay. Sometimes the sad feels better than feeling good, so let it stay. Let it stay while you spend a smile with a friend, the ones who taught you their home without charging you rent. The ones who know you're alone from the way you pick up the phone. That lower tone that you own, they hear it, they're heavenly sent. How often do we neglect the down days and spin them with a smile? If only we spoke for a while, we'd see that beings are wild and that feelings like seasons will go and change with the times. So love all of you, including the sad parts of your mind. Okay, dear old me, we're doing a little better now. Seen a darker day, switched the light on and our problems, we figured them out. I'm proud of us today. Even though we found it hard, we still pushed back and carried on. dug our feet in once more, and to the mirror said, "We're not done. Despite it all, we'll still run. If we're alive, we're breathing, then we must be someone. And now we wake up a little earlier without the burning in the mind. I know you feel a burden right now, but trust me, we'll learn it in time. That there's patience with problems. It takes some work to beat the fear, to take a pause and a breath. You're more than a year. You're more than a moment. So know that it shouldn't define you. Just because it's not happening right now doesn't mean there are heights you won't climb to. So try to live for today and live for tomorrow when it comes. From you to yourself who is someone. I am because you were, and even though you're long gone, they say I still carry parts of her. That smile she'd often make that would softly crinkle up her nose. Or how her eyes would light up at first flowers when spring starts to show. I know it's easy to think where we forget them after they have to go, but I am because you were, and that means we're forever warmed by their afterglow. I'll find you in the confidence I hold you daily in the little lessons you taught. I find you in the words that I speak and the space of my kinder thoughts. You taught me to be the better person, even though I'll find you in the confidence I hold you daily in the little lessons you taught. I find you in the words that I speak and for the safer space of my kinder thoughts. You taught me to be a better person, even though you weren't here long enough to see me become one. In the space of those darker days when I'm missing you the most, I take comfort in the fact that I'm here because of you. And for me, that's enough to... Sorry, the dog's like licking. It don't sound great on the microphone if you don't want to hear that. Okay, carry on. Don't rely on a relationship to make you feel complete. If that person leaves, then the cycle repeats. We keep looking for someone, just continually feed, until you find yourself with another who can fill what you need. Like a temporary glue. But what if the missing piece that you seek has always been inside of you? Just a little tired and out of sight. But as it tries to find the light, you feel it shake with different people, hoping this one will survive. You should be okay on your own. Stop saying it's not meant to be. Stop trading problems for people. You don't need relationships. You need therapy. So you can steadily find yourself as not a half, but a whole being, a whole person who can sit alone with their soul and feel the world in perfect balance. So when you find your person, you'll both live on the same plane. Two complete people whose puzzle pieces have found their right way home. I want you to love me, but tell me how you love yourself first, or how you hold yourself through the hurricanes when greater days seem their worst, or how you celebrate your little wins, your little things on this little earth. I want you to ask me about my day, but first tell me about yours. Tell me how you sit in silence for 60 seconds to find a lesson in your own words. A smaller moment of reflection, self-love. For 60 seconds, how coffee in bed was more than just a cup of French pressing. Tell me, how do you love yourself in a relationship? How do you love yourself when you're single? How do you lean into what you love until your eyes find a twinkle? I want you to grow old with yourself alongside smile lines and wrinkles. And I hope you want that too, because everything you love about yourself is what I love best about you. Dear women of our lifetime, you are a woman of a lifeline. You are women are our lifeline, the ones who bring us into this world and teach us a kindness from a bright mind. The ones who, despite it all, are still planting seeds in this ugly world, turning fields of greed into fields of green, and hate into lovely words. And that mothers and sisters, girlfriends to lovers, the ones who smother us in hugs when we're downtrodden by what's above us, the ones who pushed past adversity and still they're standing with that weight, the women who had to wait to be seen, because change in the world was running late. We need to be better for our women, more respect for our women. With your best breath, tell them you love them, for tomorrow is not given. I want to rise for our women, move with the times for our women. For women are the ones with wonder that keeps in their vision. Look, I pray that I listen, 'cause she spoke and held the whole universe between her lips. Happiness isn't the absence of sadness, it's the acceptance of it, the knowledge that we are beings of both halves, both ups and downs, and without two, we would flatline. We fill our lives with noise to avoid, in order to avoid the silence, but only in the silence do we find profound realization. It was just a bad day. That doesn't mean it's a bad life. It doesn't mean you're now forever in the darkness, locked with the hard parts you despise. It doesn't mean you'll wake up with the same weight on your chest as you cry soft tears from your eyes. It doesn't mean all of your choices are wrong. It was just a bad day. That's why we can turn over a new leaf, or why there's two sides to every coin. I saw a bad day, and I smiled. It was a chance to appreciate the good ones all the more. Look at you, doing better. Doing better now you left a mind that was clouded by grey and weather, and found yourself again, and look how far you've come. Past those darker days when you'd stay in bed, but now you rise to a warmer sun. I felt that too, that there was nothing new, saying this is what I am, I'm holding on to feeling blue. But look at you now, despite it all you took a different direction. You smile softly, walk towards the place of self-love. You like to call person affection. I found myself in a clouded mind, and later found the sun peeping through, as it's often said. It will only get better if you just keep doing you. You are new here, so let me give you a few words of advice. If you are struggling, talking to others will always help you grow. Look at you, healing. Just when you thought it wasn't possible, you dropped your losses and softly called that you are done grieving. You're done seeing yourself as someone you'll never move on. And so you picked up the little pieces of your past self and held on to what hold true to you. And just look at you, further along than you thought, even if it's just step or two. A better you who lets you do whatever's best for you. So I guess it's true that we're stronger than we ever imagined. And so on those grey days where you feel you're a little further from being healed, know that there's a person in the mirror who's slowly figured out how you feel and found the fact that you're being made of stardust, and it's about time you realised how powerful your space really is. She was wary of living her life in the waiting room, watching the clock for her time to come, a room painted in eggshell promises that she wouldn't be happier in the future. Happier when she got the new job, the new partner, the home she always wanted that's slightly bigger than her neighbours. Happier in a future life, never realised that all she needed was right here, in front of her this whole time. A provisional life as a wasted one. So trade the waiting room for a living room, the room where exactly you're supposed to be, filled with the dreams you had years before, and all possibilities of the next moment. And despite it all, you are still standing. You took what life handed and found a way to go again, through the pain and the panic. You're a fighter who found a way to beat the fear. Even though your darker days and feeling lost, you can say, look world, I'm still here. You're still here, finding the best in a bad day, searching the whole world to find roses in a garden full of weeds. You chase pavements to find the cracks and the warmth lies underneath. You find the best of it all because you keep going on despite it all. Through feeling lost, you know in your heart for certain that you're exactly where you are meant to be. So, with courage, say it clear that despite it all, I'm still standing. Look, Mom, I'm still here. You like who you are becoming, this newer side of yourself who now gets up to let the sun in, who gets up with a smile because you know that you found something that's true. You found you like you're becoming because you know it's the real you. The one who's a little more confident, a little more curious and able, found on the spring nights or warmer days of April, just found in the fountain pen as he wrote soft songs about when he'd speak dreams and then reach them at the heights where mountains end. You like who you're becoming, I can see it in your eyes, a little black blue on the black back burner that's come alight overnight. So when you take a drag of your cigarette, blow smoke for a new day, know that you like who you're becoming, I can see it too in every little way. Don't mistake red flags for flowers. To heal at the feet of those who hurt you is a step into the shade. Heal in the light, then watch as you bloom into two. Find someone who picks you roses for just being you. I took a walk with myself the other day. It wasn't extremely long, but there was a warmth in the air that seemed to say it might be nice to stretch your legs for a little while. We headed out on the familiar loop for the same one I'd been doing for many years, filled with potholes and flowers, overfilled bins and polished stone, past the burned down house that, rumour has it, is not receiving its insurance payout. The red dog collar on the back gate begging the question of where Lucky ran off to. I asked myself if I was happy, a question I really asked myself in fear. It might envelop me and lead me to spiral of existential crisis. Swaddled in my duvet, eating a gallon of pralines and cream before calling it a night. I am happy, I told myself. Well, not always. You can't always be happy. And perhaps that's just life. I think that's what we've learned. We've learned that instead of thinking a bad day means your life is ruined, you now acknowledge it's just a day, and that tomorrow or next week will be better. But on the whole, I am happy. A few days of pralines and cream, sure, but you're a positive person. I asked myself, what makes us smile? That question alone brought me to one, but I did stop for a minute to think. The obvious answers came pouring into my head. Family, friends, being around loved ones, laughter, animals, dogs in particular. Schnauzers with their little beards like a wise old man. Rain in the heat of the summer causing a rainbow that everyone can't resist. Taking a photograph of, and then questioning what might be on the inside. Being cold and then crawling under a warm blanket, a bed, a picnic. I realise it's ultimately the simplest of things, it's ordinary that makes us smile. Not the big materialistic prizes, moments that come for free, but oh, how we'd pay to experience them again and again. And that's it. I thought I'd just show you Emmy's on the back cover. So, I hope you enjoyed the poetry of I Don't Want to Settle by Dan Whitlam. I'm sorry I kind of butchered some of them, but when you're reading out whispered and trying to concentrate, can get a bit draining. So, I hope you enjoyed, and if you would like more of these kind of videos, let me know, because I have multiple poetry books that I can get out and read you my favourite poems out of. So if you're new here, please like and subscribe, as it really does help me out and I really do appreciate it.